Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. Welcome to FPL Don't Panic. This will be a slightly lower energy one than the one I did this morning. Um, yeah, that was a big overnight again of football, and it was emotional, folks. It was emotional, but happy enough with the results in the end. So this video is largely going to, for the very, very most part, going to focus on game week 30. I've had a lot of thinking around that. I've crunched the numbers, um, so focused into that, and big focus on what my transfer thoughts are. And I think I might even make actually two. I'll tell you why shortly. But just first of all, what I want to do is move myself out of the way. I'm going to need you to see the full screen. Get myself well out of the way there. It's going to be small des today for a while, anyways. Hopefully you can all see me enough. Let's go to the spreadsheet here. I'm trying to think of the right word to say this. I don't know why, but my predictions are weirdly accurate. Weirdly accurate. This week I actually did I ran 4 teams through my number cruncher. I did one of them, and go back and have a look at it if you didn't have a look at it. I did free hit team, which I actually did for my mate Jason, the guy that is doing the personal training with, who will actually be on the doing a video with me on Wednesday. And so I did I was trying to work out for him whether it was worthwhile doing a free hit or just using 2 or 3 transfers because he had enough transfers. And we opted to go for the free transfers. And he got exactly, ran it through the number cruncher and got exactly to within a couple of points of what the spreadsheet said it was going to come out at. We're talking within a couple of points because the free hit team was showing 64 points, and if you go back you'll see that on the video that I did a couple of days ago. So I actually did record the video of the free hit team. I thought that'd be interesting just to see how accurate my prediction is. And if you go back, and so the prediction I did, and those of you viewing regularly will know I do my predictions. I exclude captaincy for the something always happens factor, and in this case Son didn't play. So the prediction on this one was 64 and it came out at 63. Okay, no idea why. This is not high tech science or anything, and that's really is no reason why it should really work. It just seems to did for me the second half of last season, has for a lot of this season, and so that was 2 out of 2 because Jason's normal team, the free hit team that I did the video on. And then I did a very, very quick one. I actually did it on paper for my mate Chris, and he said, "Oh, what do you think I'm going to come out?" And I did it quickly. I said, "Oh, that's not good, mate." And it was about 23 points. He finished on about 23 points. So it's bizarre. It really is bizarre, and I don't think for a second that it will continue, but it does just seem to keep happening. Anyway, so yeah, just looking even at my own game week 2019, whereas my prediction was 54, and I actually got 63, but nothing did happen. So if you actually put the captaincy on it, so the prediction 54, and you put the Howland captaincy points on there and put it onto the prediction. Again, it's within a point or two. So what's that? 50, yeah, 61, and I got 63 because literally there was no injuries, there was no surprise benchings, there was no people getting subbed early. Just a clean game week, which I haven't had for God knows how long. So I do take that as being pretty bloody accurate as well. So why am I telling you all this? It is not to say how brilliant I am, although I do feel slightly clever at the moment. It's as I look at my game week 30. So let's have a little look at the by the numbers. So we just have a look at where we are. So my points at the moment is 1,951. My average is 67.5. As you know, I'm trying to get to that 70-point average. Top 100k to be in the top 100k, which is my ultimate goal. Don't think I'm going to make it this year. As I say, we've spoken long and often about my flawed my mistakes in that first 10 game weeks of the season. But I'm going to keep chugging away and trying for it. But I'm not far away from it now. Top 100k, 1,965 points, and the top 100k average is 67.79. Number 1 points is in the world, 2,186, and they are averaging 75.3. That is really high at this stage of the season. And as I said in the video this morning, Salah has bumped up these averages massively this year because every man his uncle's got him, and everyone's captaining him, and he's hauling every other week, or nearly every week. So those numbers have really bumped up the averages this year. It is a bit of a freak season in that respect. 70 might not even be enough in the end to get in the top 100k, but that's what we're aiming for. So those are the numbers at the moment. So I'm not far outside the top. I was nearly there, as apart from that Bruno Hall, as you saw, emotional days this morning. Happy but frustrated as a United supporter. So let's have a look at game week 30, and I did sort of decide in the end. I'm just going to go with the form teams, which give me the best average out of the players that I've got at the moment. It means I'm leaving some really hot stuff on the bench. If this is where I the final team, of course. But I think I'm going to go with the number send me. Gavardio. I really feel like even in Leicester, I feel like I'm relying on an attacking return. City just aren't keeping clean sheets. Simple as that. And numbers do not lie. Kanate again averages down there just at 3.2, and Nkunku, of course, just an average of 4. So Sa, even though he's got a good fixture at home to West Ham, average 3.5. Henderson's averages up 5.2, and he seems to be keeping a clean sheet every second game. Henderson at the moment, so Southampton away, I think, looks pretty good. So the team as a whole there, as you can see, decent averages. I generally want a 4-point average and try to achieve a 4-point average out of the keeper. 5 points out of defenders, so they're all there or thereabouts. 6 points out of midfielders, not quite there. Bowen just below it, and Mbumo bang on it. Kluivert well below it. Been very surprised his averages have been so low, considering how much we've been talking about him. And I brought him in without checking those numbers properly. In truth, I just wanted him, but Salah, of course, Salah holding up the fort with his 11. Wood has dropped right off. He's down to a 4 now, 4 average. And Strand Larson, again, it was rash. It shouldn't have been coming into the team. Now, I'm obviously grateful for the 13, but the average is just 4, and that's but it's blank. And Haaland just 5.6. So regular returns. I've marked up the. In my ideal world, I want to see 3 returns out of 5. If we get down to 2 or 1, that's when I think about moving a player out. And a lot also is influenced. There has to be a certain amount of common sense on how good the fixtures are here. However, the average for this team, I thought it would be a bit higher, as 62.6. So although it has quite a nice high ceiling of 82. It's got it's had a low floor there of 34. Now these 5 games are of course matches that where they've played over 60, and for the most part they are in the last 5. These are in the main players. These players have played the last 5 fixtures. There's going to be sometimes where they might have been out with an injury or something like that. So I take the last 5 games he's played. So of course the blankers from this game week just gone, 29. I've got their last 5 game weeks, and they're just overlaid with the last 5 game weeks for the players that did play this week. So they're not definitely playing those games on the same game week. That makes sense. Anyway, for the last 5 game weeks, that's their form, that's their history. It is it's just showing me. I'm gonna make that bigger actually. Bear with me. Change the color. That's a little bit easier to see, isn't it? 58, and that is without captaincy, of course. But as I say, I leave the captaincy out of my predictions for the fudge factor of anything that can happen will happen, and that's not going to do me. I need to get that number up, and there are players I do want to bring in, but of course These are good fixtures. That can help, of course, you know, because this thing's not going to always be right. It just seems to be right a lot. The prediction I usually take the lowest of the either the median or the average. So the average, again, I always are on caution. I'm always just trying to push these numbers up. We've got the 62.6 as the average. The median from 82 to 34 comes out at 58. So I always take the lowest number. But somewhere based on this is, you know, it's going to finish somewhere between 58 and 62, 63. So, do I try to get these numbers up? We've got a lot to think about. I mean, I've got two transfers at the moment, and out to game week 34, and I have up to 6 transfers. We don't know yet, and I'm hoping we'll get a clearer picture on that before game week 30. So I'm certainly not going to be doing any transfers in the next week or two. It would probably be just before deadline. And we'll have obviously a clearer picture, I think, you know, who's going to be moving over here from 34 into 33, who's going to be doing the double in 33, because I've obviously got to make sure, with no chips, that I've got good doublers in there, and enough to get, if not a full team out in 35, a decent team out. I don't mind, I'm not averse to playing with 8 or 9 players in 35, and I'm certainly not prepared to lose points on this side by sacrificing, you know, potentially good buys. But obviously my buys, I do want to try and focus in into teams that will be doubling, or indeed are going to be doubling in game week 32. So that brings me to, I guess, the watch list. You know, and any number of those will help to boost up. I mean, so the players that would be likely to leave. Oh, does Haaland come out? That would fund everything I'd want to do. I could turn Haaland into Isak, which would mean it'd be easy to turn Strand Larsen into Strand Larsen, or indeed Wood. In fact, it may even be more likely Wood. Wood into you know, Martu, Mamouche, Mateta, along those lines. I really am keen to bring Mamouche in. He has only returned in 2 of his 5 fixtures. The average is 6.8. We've got to remember his minutes have been limited. His minutes have been limited. Or am I going to fall victim to Pep Roulette? I feel as though some punts need to be taken. You know, but you know, bringing him in with the average of 6.8, that's going to obviously increase things a wee bit here, and will also you know, increase some numbers here. So it's not going to do anything with that 34. I do see that 34 as a little bit of an anomaly. You know, the numbers are not generally bad, but those anomalies happen for a reason. We've all been caught by when we think we've got the dream team going out and have an absolute shocker of a week. But averages are averages. That's one thing I really did learn working for an analytics company for 12 years, even though I wasn't an analyst myself. Averages really are averages. They play out. Yeah, so it's an interesting one. I mean, this is my my shortlist. These are the players that you know, I've obviously got the likes of, you know, Murphy, Sarr, Isak, and Mateta, who would be doubling in 32. And Marmouche, we don't know yet whether he's going to be doubling over this side. And of course, we don't know whether Newcastle, Crystal Palace will have doubles here. So I'm certainly not going to be doing something in the short term. I need to obviously get this balance right here. I definitely want to try and have, you know, 8 to 9 doublers in 33. Hopefully that will play out. Maybe hopefully I'll get lucky with some of these results. Very hard. It's almost impossible to predict these FA Cup results at the moment. It really, really is. They're very, very tight, apart maybe from Aston Villa. Quite frankly, I don't want anyone from Aston Villa. So all I can wait to see is who's likely. Hopefully we'll get the results from the FA Cup. Hopefully we'll get some game week announcements before 30, and so we get a clearer picture here. There's certainly players that I want to hang on to here that will have the guaranteed fixture in 34. But again, if I can get 8 to 9 good doublers in, maybe more, hopefully, and then with a bench of players that have got a definitive fixture in 35, and maybe have a transfer or two left. That might be the time where I might have to consider taking a hit, or say, I just sod it. I'm playing with 7 players. Playing with 7 players, if they're the right 7 players, as we all know, when you look at your team on any given week, your 11 players, your returns are generally coming from just 5 or 6 players, and you can end up having a decent week with that. But I do feel I need to get that number up. I can do 2 transfers this week, and then easily bring in the likes of an Isak or a Sarr, or Marmoush. Marmoush is my favourite, but I'm recognising the risk there with Marmoush. But as I said this morning, with Pep, when he brings a player in, I mean, he makes City a better team up front, as an attacking team. I don't think there's any question about that. They look better with him at the moment. And when Pep brings a player in, I think he only got that first 90 minutes early because City had so many injuries. And after that, his minutes have been limited. He's been integrating him into the team. Bundesliga is a lot different to the Premier League. Pep tends to bring players in steadily. But I think after that performance, where he definitely looked the best player on the pitch for City, I'd have to back him to start against Leicester. Then he's got a fat fixture against Man United, home fixture against Crystal Palace. I could just bring him in for Haaland, or I keep Haaland, and with a view that City are fairly likely to have a double. Just take that punt. Haaland's numbers are not too bad. And could be worse, couldn't it? Haaland, Marmoush, and Isak. Haaland, Marmoush, Mateta. Or just get rid of Haaland, because those funds can certainly use up. But I reckon I'm going to use at least 3 transfers before the big double, and then that's where I think I'm going with this. Need to get the average up. That's the key objective here. But we will certainly be waiting. There's a few more players to look at. I'll just show you this quickly. This is predicted points. Now this isn't my number. These aren't my numbers. I got these from FPL Hub. I don't necessarily agree with all of these numbers, but according to FPL Hub, these are the predicted points for these players from 30 to 34. So that's right up to the double. So yeah, Isak, I definitely want to get Isak back in. Already got Salah. Currently got Haaland. I don't believe that Palmer number for a minute. Sarr, that sounds right. Could even potentially be below the form that he's starting to run into. Mateta, obviously. The thing I will say about Mateta, and I think I would want to see 1 game of him back. I believe he is going to be available. But I think they have a game, don't they? They do have a game before the next game week, and I'd certainly want to see 1 game out of him. I think we're getting a kick in the head like that. It can mess with you. No pun intended. Can mess with your head a little bit. I know myself when I got a few bangs in the head when I used to play Gaelic football in Ireland, or even soccer. That first game or 2 back, if you've taken a kick in the head, you think, just mentally, you're not quite as brave until you sort of get back into the swing of things. So I certainly like to see how he goes. Murphy. 27 points. Wood's dropping down a bit now in the predicted points. So you can see this stuff. I've already got Mbeumo, already got Gabriel. Bruno seems to be quite low, and Gordon's down there at 25. But it just gives you an idea. Those are just predicted points. I don't necessarily agree with them all, but it just gives you an idea sort of the players that are expected to be in the top points for the next 4 game weeks, so might be a point of interest for you. I think that's it. That was slightly waffly. I wanted to get this one out of the way because after I do the video, I feel like I've been living in spreadsheets the last few days and living in FPL. after I've done the video with Jason on Wednesday, we're just going to have a quick chat about his team on Wednesday when I do my gym stuff with him. And then I'm going to take a little break for a week and then we just have to see how this international break plays out and how the FA Cup match is going. And that's obviously going to drive some of my decisions. But at the moment, if I was to be a betting man, I'd say Marmoush and Sarr coming in for me. And that would be pretty decent on the averages. I can get Nkunku out. We'll stick with Kluivert because although the averages are low, he's been returning consistently, and we know he's all capable. We've seen that in the past. But yeah, definitely want to see his 4.8 coming up. But I think Nkunku would be the one to go, and we'd get Sarr in, and I've got him as well, obviously for the double, and Marmoush, who I believe we've got there's nothing certain in football, but I think there's a decent chance that he will have a double as well. And that would certainly be affordable. I'd have the money to do that. And I can make Haaland decisions later. And it could be, I suspect, that Haaland will turn it into Isak once I've seen that, again, how these games play out, how the doubles play out, and how, and form. Yeah, basically form. Just to mention it again in the video, one of the last videos. Do remember when Newcastle lost to United 2 years ago, 2-0. They didn't show up for the rest of the season, and they were in a similar position to where they are now. Now they did win this. They did win this one. So are they going to be coming out of that fired up, or are they going to be thinking, yeah, we've got a trophy, first trophy in St James Park in God knows how many years, and that's it. We're done for the season. Let's go to the beach. Still fighting for Champions League football. Carabao Cup doesn't give you Champions League football, so one would hope they come fired up and looking to win Champions League football, because they did look fired up against Liverpool. I only saw the highlights, but the bit I saw, they were fighting. They were fighting hard. I think that's it, folks. I'll leave it at that. What do you think? With the subscriber base is grown quite a bit over the last few days, by the way. So thank you everyone that is tuning in, subscribing, hitting like, and getting engaged in the comments. Really, 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 really do appreciate it. As I said, I often say, yeah, I was at April, May last year, June when I started. Yeah, June last year. Chatting away to myself for the first few months, so really nice to have such good engagement. I will do the Bishop Brennan Cup, probably when I have my chat with Jason as well. We'll get him to present it. And some really good scores, guys. Yeah, did have a scan through. Yeah, it was looking bad there for a bit, wasn't it? But there was some great scores in there in the end. Some really good scores. Few Bruno captainers. Hey, Joel. Take care. Have fun. Play your own game. Don't panic. And I'll see you in a couple of days' time.